Now, all my tips when it comes to transplanting. Hello everybody, it's Carl Mormon, your garden guy. Today I'm going to be showing you how to transplant different perennial ornamentals, also known as ground covers or any random shrub in your garden. So this is the spot I've identified where I want to transplant my shrubs to, or my perennial grasses to. So as you can see, it's a lovely little spot here in the corner of the building. Nothing growing here currently, but I'm just going to prepare this with a bit of compost here from Bark Unlimited, and I've got some normal general fertilizer here from Talborn Organics that I'm going to be mixing in here for our little Liriopes. So they've got a lovely base to start off with, the nice fertile soil mix that will help them out through the stress of transplanting and then into the next season when they'll be growing. So first, what you want to do is, now that we've identified the spot, get some water in it, and you want to water it nice and deep. Okay, so this is just going to take a while. I don't know if you can see it in this footage, but it's getting to late afternoon, and that's the perfect time to be doing your transplanting because the heat of the day is past. And that just means that your plants, once you've planted them in their new place, won't go through as much stress as they would otherwise. Another thing you should notice or take note of is that I'm doing this in autumn. Autumn is the perfect time to be transplanting your plants, and the reason for that is because your plants have realized it's cooling down and days are getting shorter, so the plant knows autumn is here and winter is coming, and that forces the plant into dormancy. So many of your plants will just start storing all their nutrients into their storage organs and the leaves or other parts of the plants, which means it's a great time to transplant them because they won't take as much stress, firstly because they're dormant, and secondly they'll recover a lot quicker because they're not doing active growth when you're hurting them. Now what's really nice when you're transplanting, or what's really important when you're transplanting, is that you make sure these plants are going to have the best conditions possible to take root in. And that's why I'm adding some organic matter here. This is just your normal general compost. I'm adding quite a bit of it. There we go, look at that. We want to make sure our new little babies have the perfect home once we transplant them. And then along with my compost, I'm going to be working in just a general fertilizer. This is your normal Vitagrow from Talborn Organics. I quite enjoy the product because it's organic. So you'll see it's just little pellets like this. Here's a look. You want to do about 1.5 cups per square meter of this stuff. And you'll see real quickly, this is going to be a perfect little bed for our transplanted Liriopes when we're done with them. Okay, that looks about more or less just there. Close enough, I'd say. Perfect. Okay, here we go. And now we're just simply going to work this into the soil. Look at that, lovely. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. Now ideally you want to do this with closed shoes. This isn't the best example of me working in flops, so maybe just take note of that if you'd like. And as you can notice here, the soil's not dry. There's no dry soil here. It's all nice and wet. Look at that. It's lovely, wet, moist medium, not over soggy. It's not quite muddy, but it's nice and moist. So I know my plants will be in the best condition as soon as I plant them in here. There we go. Look at that. That's looking lovely. Worked it in nice and deep. It's well aerated and it's nice and moist and plenty plenty of organic matter and fertilizer, just like you wanted. So only now do we get to the point where we start digging up our plants. Right, this is our Liriope muscari variegata. As you can see, the variegated foliage. And these guys, luckily for me, transplant quite easily. But what's really important is that you water them extremely well, quite some time ahead in the day. So I'd actually suggest that in most cases you water your plants even before you start preparing your soil where you're going to be planting them. Right, so I'm just going to water these dudes in very nicely, nice and deep. Give them a good soaking. Right, look at that. Luckily these plants get watered almost daily, so I know they're watered well. There we go, look at that. Nice and well watered in. These guys are now going to have a bit of time to drink this water up nice and well. Okay, so what you want to do is dig nice and far away from the plant. Right, so I just want to show you, I'm going to open up the plant around here and then at least over here. So there's a good 20 centimeters between the root ball and where I'm starting to dig my hole, right? Nice and deep and tilt him upwards, and the same on the sides. And on the other side, I'm going to dig them out nice and wide. So we've got plenty of space around that root ball. Look at that. Now it's tempting to start pulling these guys on their hair, right, to get them out of here. Please don't do that. Save yourself the trouble. You want to be digging a nice big hole around this guy and take all these roots with him. It's really important. Okay, so same in front, just all the way down and pull him out. Nice and big hole. Look at that. Lovely. You see, there's the sort of middle of the plant over there, and I'm digging all the way over here. Here we go. In and around we go. Right around the plant, and I'm going to be doing this for every single one. Okay, right down, get in there, right at the bottom, and oopsie, out he comes. Look at that, stunning. Right, now what I like to do is sort of just shimmy him onto the shovel like that. Right, now I'm going to grab the shovel and look at that. The whole root ball just comes out just like that. And now I can walk with him and I can move with this guy all around the garden, and now we're going to go take him right through to where I'm going to be planting him. Okay, lovely. All these soils still intact. I mean, look at that. Beautiful, perfectly ready to be transplanted. There we go, lovely. Look at that. And he's ready for his new home. Now you'll notice I'm only doing one at a time. Hey, you see there's no other plants around here. I'm only bringing one plant at a time, digging it out on the one side and transplanting it straight away. Okay, so let's give this guy a nice little hole here. There we go. There we go. So what you want to do is dig a nice and big hole, right? And get all these rocks out of here. And now typically you want to do twice the size of this root ball. So you kind of guess the size of your root ball, and your hole has got to be twice the size of that root ball. I know what gardeners do, and it's so tempting. I know, I've been there. You dig a hole just big enough for these roots to fit in there, and then what people go and do is they try and curl them up in a ball and just squeeze it in there and just plant him in there. And I know, I've done it. It's not a good idea. Trust me, it never works. You end up just putting this plant in a whole world of hate, and it's not necessary. We want to give him a nice big hole which is fertile and has loose soil. So come have a look here. Come look here quickly. Look at that. Look at that. We're digging him a nice big hole. You see that? All right, just to show you, this is my plant. If I were to plant him, obviously that's way too deep. Right, as you can see there. It's way too deep, but that's the size of my hole, okay? Now, we put our little ball aside here, and into our planting hole, we add just a little bit of bone meal. You'll get it at any nursery. Many of you will be familiar with it. This is again from Talborn. Little bit of bone meal, and now we're gonna backfill it with our composted soil. Because I prepared this garden bed ahead of time, I know all the soil around here is a 50-50 mix between compost and garden soil, existing gardening soil. Right, so I fill the hole back in with that. Okay, so we dug a hole twice as big as the root ball, and then we filled the hole back up again. Okay, and now we're going to be digging the actual hole we want to be planting our plant in. Come look here real close. So you'll see, here's our actual hole, here's the main hole, and in here, within the hole, I've filled back up. I'm going to be digging his actual planting hole. Okay, there we go, look at that. Very nice, very nice. And I know there's lots of food in here, and it's nice and loose all around here, so as soon as he starts growing, he's going to have no problem taking off. Okay, so I've got to dig him up a bit again. Right, there we go, look at that. Look at that. So this is a hole within a hole, if that makes any sense. Okay, and we're going to stick our dude right back at exactly the same soil level he was. That's really important, extremely important. You can't plant him any deeper or any shallower, or you will bring him harm, I promise you. You got to plant him at the same level he was. Okay, and firm him in. Look at that. Put my entire body weight on his root ball. Make sure he's in there nice and sturdy. Okay, look at that. Look at that, beautiful. There we go. Our first little dude planted and ready. And luckily, because we planted him in autumn, he's going to be able to sit here over the entire winter and have his roots sort of recuperate from what they've been through. And then as soon as spring comes, he's going to start shooting out and having luscious new growth and reward you for the trouble we've gone through now. Right, so do one at a time, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of them in here quickly. So what I'm doing, and it works really nicely when you're transplanting multiple plants. As I bring the one in and plant him, after planting him, I dig the planting hole for the next guy. So that means I can literally just dig him out, bring him straight here, and back into the soil he goes. As you can see, I've moved them all over here. Quick one afternoon's work. And they're looking stunning if you ask me. I mean, look at this. They're gonna do so well over here, I promise you. Now, just to quickly recap all my tips when it comes to transplanting. First thing is timing. You wanna make sure you either do it in autumn or in spring. The second thing is the time of the day, so late afternoon or early morning. The third thing is water your plants in before you transplant. The fourth thing is identify a space you want to be transplanting them to before you start transplanting, and then prepare that place where you're going to be planting them. So get your soil preparation where you want to be planting your plants ready before you touch the plants you want to transplant. Okay? And then my next point, hello Oli, hello, he's digging this already, man. My next point would then just be to water them in, to take one at a time. Only transplant one plant at a time. Don't dig all of them up and then have them lying there in the sun until you get ready to transplant. And then the last reason, or the last sort of tip, is just to water them in very nicely, which I'm about to do right now. water them very nicely, and these guys are going to have the whole of winter to settle their roots in and get them nice and ready in their little position. And then as soon as spring comes, they'll be ready to shoot out new growth and just fill up this garden bed for us beautifully. As always, thank you for your time. I've been Carl Mormon, your garden guy. This has been How You Transplant. Until next time, happy gardening and happy Easter.